Yeah, but you want to know the magic though? So this is the secret.
Oh, geez. Okay, good. Tell us.
Okay, so that's great. Reprogramming the mind is great. Your mindset, really important. What I discovered and what makes this work completely different is that you have a mindset, but you have a body set too. The problem is most people, that's all they realize what is. Now, almost nobody knows this, okay? The body has its own somatic definition.
Andrew Daniel, welcome.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited to get some time with you today. And I'm really excited to introduce you to the community we're building, into the membership that you've joined. And really, I think the work that you do, so many members really need, even if they are not aware of it yet. And I just want to say thank you for joining me. And who's Andrew?
Thank you for having me, and thank you for making this club. As I told you before, it was an answered prayer. I've been looking for a place like this and a community like this and leaders like yourself to join. So
thank you. I've gotten a little bit, I've been listening to your book, which you have here, Awaken to Your True Self.
Yes.
And you really hooked me from the very beginning. What brought you to a space where you needed to write this book?
I had been doing, you name it, I've tried it. You know, everything from traditional therapy to hypnotherapy to tapping to alternative medicine to traditional therapy to personal development, reading all the books, all the classics. I did entrepreneurship. I've gone even into psychedelics and spirituality to business to health to everything. And it was an amazing journey. And through that journey, I started a software company. I wrote 2 versions of that software. I've done certifications in training courses. I've worked with clients. I've been homeless twice. I've traveled, backpacked around the world. And I've had incredible teachers and life experiences and a lot of struggle and a lot of failures. And that's just as an adult. You know, as a kid, I had warts on my fingers. I was bullied and teased as a kid. My mom and biological father had me when they were 17. So it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild journey. And that led me to do the inner work, to heal myself, and to start sharing what I've learned with other people. And I was doing that. My first sort of niche was holistic sexuality. So I was teaching masculine and feminine polarity, teaching men how to have better sex and become better men. And that was my first thing. I was published on Mind Valley for my course, Holistic Sex, about 10 years ago. And then after that, 3 months later, I was homeless.
How did that happen?
Yeah, wondering why my name was up there along with other teachers that I respected and admired, and yet I still struggled. I still couldn't pay my rent. And it was so confusing. It was a great question you just asked. How did that happen? How could I have learned all of this stuff and have had a successful software company, been smart enough to do that, and to be published, and yet my life still didn't work. My relationships didn't work, and my financial life didn't work. And that question that you asked set me on a journey to this book. So full circle here. How did that happen? How did all of that still not be enough for me to have a functional life? And that brought me to this phase of this journey. And so this book is essentially, after that point, everything that made the difference, everything that made the difference between doing all of the work and having tremendous results and healing, and it's still not being the thing. It's still not getting me there. And so after about, 8 more years, I finally did break through. I finally did have success. And I wanted to share the things that made the difference between all the normal self-help, all the normal therapy, all the normal spiritual teachings. What actually are those missing links? And that's why I wrote this book.
Yeah, and from what I'm gathering in the book, it's not an easy path, because you are inviting people to go look in the dark, which I think it's a compelling argument to start to have the conversation. Is that our biggest realization of ourselves is to seek into the darkness first, and seeing what's there, the shadows, the thing that we may avoid. You're saying no. Stop avoiding it. Look at it. Is that what you're saying? Because this is so far where I'm at, and so you're going to have to help me further on the book. But
yeah,
how would you summarize what it is exactly that you do?
Multiple questions. So yeah, at that part, you're probably in the avoidance of life chapter area. So each of the chapters in the book are a distinct topic. And that distinct topic was through my work with myself. So everything that I talk about in the book is not theory. None of this is theory. This is all stuff that I've lived through in my own life.
Yeah.
Right? This is all firsthand lived through embodied experience. Yeah. And that came with a great cost. And so there's 18 chapters. So there's 18 main topics and themes. And it's a big book. And that's as small as I could get it, because every single thing in there is something that was important. All of my new clients get this book, read this book, and it's the foundation. So that was one of the reasons too, is that I noticed that, you asked me what it is that I do. When I start working with clients, I found myself having to explain all of these concepts. What's a story? What's a mythology? Avoidance, narcissism, victim mentality, embodiment, how you do one thing is how you do everything, your shadow, right? All of these topics. And so one of the reasons was to be foundational material for anybody doing the work that I do. And so what is the work that I do? It's called Cinesomatics, is one modality, one approach. I do a few things. But Cinesomatics is where, compared to, I think, a lot of traditional coaching or therapy, which is very talk-based, right? You're talking about stuff, which is great, but it has limits. And so what I do instead is I get people in their body and moving. So what is Cinesomatics? Cine as in video, cinema video, and somatics of the body. So I essentially have people move. So we have them stand up, do movement. I film them with cinema equipment or over Zoom. And then we play that video back, and they get to see for themselves that darkness, that shadow, the thing that they've been avoiding seeing in themselves for years or maybe their whole life, that they don't want to see. That then gets exposed, not through conversation, but through their body. And then it's on video. And so they can see it for themselves in their own body. And is very confronting, right? This is not a process for beginners. The book is generally not a beginner book. It's written for people that have already done the work and are really ready to face these things. And so it's not just the shadow as well, because the shadow also has a light component. And so many of us also have beauty and gifts and love and light to share. And sometimes those don't get recognized by our family, our parents. Sometimes we reject them. So showing them not only all of the things that they're doing to ruin their life or hold themselves back, but also affirm and show them their beauty, their love, their divinity, their light qualities, as well as their shadow. But in order to see the one, you have to be able to see the other.
Is this essentially a path for them to really understand what the mask is that they're wearing and help them deconstruct the mask that they carry?
A lot of masks and a lot of stories. So the first chapter really is about what a story is, right? A story. A story is essentially the narrative we tell about what actually happened, right? There's the actual thing that happened, the thing that you felt, the thing that you experienced, the data, which is still emotion, right? And then all of the drama, the noise, the suffering that we do around it, right? Saying that, a great example is the difference between, I asked this person out and they said no. That's just what happened. Versus, see, I know all women, all men are like this. I'm never good enough. See, they only want me. They don't want me because I don't have the money or I don't have the looks and see, this is always what happens. That's a story. And so the first thing that we want to do is to orient people towards reality, towards the truth. And it requires us to see things at multiple levels. And so when you can understand that there is a truth of what is, and there is a story and a narrative around it, that then unlocks the ability to see masks and to deconstruct them. And the awareness that the image we have of what happened may not match the reality of what happened. If you have that understanding, then it's easy to translate to, well, the image I have of myself or the image I have of what other people think I am is an image, and it might not be the reality of what actually is.
Yeah.
And so from that place, you can start deconstructing the mask. And that mask comes up out of protection. It's a survival strategy. It's a protective strategy. And so understanding that all of the ways that we're showing up are designed to somehow to protect us, to keep us safe, rather than demonizing it, rather than attacking the ego, rather than going straight for the jugular, seeing and having grace for ourselves that we have a mask. Well, why? Why do we put a mask on? Why do we perform? Why do we have a persona? Why do we want to be seen in a certain way? Then that helps us have compassion while we dismantle that and find a way to be vulnerable while being safe in the world. Because if you can feel safe, it allows you to be vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, it allows you to have intimacy. And the masks and the personas are all designed to prevent intimacy. Because intimacy requires being seen, which requires vulnerability, which can feel dangerous and unsafe.
So why is that important to someone that wants to live their best life? So why would someone listening to this that maybe, so well, I don't need such a thing. I'm good as I am. Obviously they're not an ideal client if they just, right. Not willing to do the work. But I do feel like what you're helping people is getting to that next level, which is essentially dismantling what they know is true to to know what is real.
Yeah, what they think is true.
Yeah.
And that's why Cinesomatics is so powerful, is because your body doesn't lie. So someone like that, let's say that they're courageous enough, or they got a hunch enough that says, yeah, I think I'm good as I am, but there's still maybe something that's not quite right. So they'll come on a call and say, well, let's find out. I don't know. If you don't think there is, I don't know. So stand up, do some of these movements, and then we'll watch the video and you can see for yourself. And almost every single time, something shows up. Their body reveals something that their mind, that their ego doesn't want them to see. And so that is what is so powerful, because you can have very successful people that have very functional lives, that don't feel like there's anything. But when they see themselves, and I say, do you see how you feel like an imposter? Do you see how you're leaning forward out of your body, abandoning yourself? Do you see how you're martyring yourself? Do you see how it's never enough? And then they get to see it. There's no Andrew interpreting with some theory or idea. There's no ivory tower. There's no checklist of some pseudoscience crap. It's literally right there, evidence on video in your own body. Now, you can trust me and let your life move forward and face what you don't want to face, or you can get stubborn and deny what's in front of you and go on your merry way. But people that do this work, almost every single one, I think all of them are oriented towards the in timeless maxim. It's on the Temple of Delphi in Greece. Know thyself. Know thyself. And so dismantling the masks and moving towards what you're avoiding and orienting towards truth, responsibility, that is an orientation towards freedom. And that freedom comes from being willing to see who you really are. Warts and all, shadow and all, lights and all.
Well, this is the thing about personal development that I love, because there's so many layers. You never get, when you are, what do you tell someone that is seemingly successful, but they know they're not at the level they want to go, so they engage with you. You start working with them. Do you see a lot of giving them the ability to confront themselves? Does it change their relationships with people around them? Because suddenly I get a sense in the stage of the book I'm in where, like, if I start standing up for myself, because I'm a people pleaser, and I start confronting, I'm going to now be faced with, well, maybe they didn't really like me, and being okay with that, or like, oh, Robert's changed when Robert's defending himself. And so it's just like this weird dichotomy of like, I'm going to have to be comfortable with losing friends.
Well, and that's the very thing the original strategy was designed to do. The people-pleasing strategy was literally designed to not lose people.
Yeah. And
so you have to actually be willing to lose people in order to break through that and heal it.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if I can swear.
It's whatever.
Yeah, it's a fucker.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a motherfucker to realize that you have to be willing to go into the very thing that decades of coping and survival strategies have craftfully, magnificently developed to keep you safe. You actually have to go and do the opposite and be willing to go into it. And I know what's on the other side. I know, but I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Because you have to be willing to lose those people. Now, I might know you're not going to lose them, but you have to be willing. Joseph Campbell says, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what it is. That freedom, that healing, that being accepted by yourself and other people, real relationships, that requires you to go into that cave that you fear to go into. And there's no, I don't bullshit. You might be annihilated.
That's extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it might be annihilating to go in there and face the people you love the most and feel the rejection.
Well, I think the reason I'm intrigued, first when I meet a lot of people that have a book, and I took a moment to go see it on Amazon and go, well, how many reviews? And I was like, there's like 400 reviews. Like, you got a significant amount of people that have read this book. And I went to your website, which is andrewdaniel.org, yes, which is a great domain. And you have a lot of images, a lot of video of all the sessions that you're doing with your people that you work with. And there's a lot of images of people like standing and moving, mm-hmm, and you could tell that it's a very good visual experience of what I imagined. And you've been coming to my some of our events. One of ours was Breakthrough in Eggs. One of the things that our members are invited to. It's a breakfast.
Highly encourage you do it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we just have some amazing people, and it was just really good to see you in the space and actually get to know you there. But not last time, the time before, I kind of came into the club early this morning, and I thought of you when I was doing this because we had met before, and I wanted my team to film me coming from the library into the space, like jamming on a speaker and like walking with confidence, Saturday Night Fever, mm-hmm, right? And it was really wild how I am playing that and I'm walking and trying to walk into the space with a confident thing. And I felt the mask. I felt fake. Mm-hmm. I felt not real. I felt really out of sorts, and how uncomfortable it was to pretend to be this overly confident person. And it was like the stark contrast of like, man, there's so much I need to work on. Like, why do I have to feel like I have to wear a mask to feel confident, versus not even thinking about the confidence? And not even have to put it on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the difference between subtracting the insecurities versus trying to add the confidence. And so that's an adding confidence. That is a very state-based. States are fine, right? You probably heard Tony Robbins, right?
Yeah.
All state. Very good. Great stuff. The problem with states, though, is that it requires you to maintain that state to have whatever that quality is. And so I take a different approach. I think that's fine. There's nothing, state is a real thing. But I discovered that, well, my work and what I offer and what I've done with myself and clients is subtraction, right? We're taking away everything that is not you.
Yeah.
And that's how you get to your true self, right? It's not by becoming it, but it's by removing everything that we've put on, like a windshield. Imagine you have a windshield on your car and it's like 5 years and you've never washed it. There's bird shit, there's bugs, there's dirt, there's mud, there's crap. Yeah. But you're looking through that windshield and all you're seeing is crap. And so you don't need to add in a new layer on top of the windshield. You need to wipe away all that crap.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the big differences is my approach would be, okay, let's look at the things that are keeping your natural confidence, your natural self-love, your natural beauty and light. What is blocking those? What's getting in the way of those? And healing those things rather than adding in personas, right? Then you start layering, right? So then you have your who you really are, and then you have the traumas and pains, then you have the life experiences, and then you have the insecurities, and then you compensate for the insecurities, and then you feel like an imposter, and then you have another mask to, change your state. And so next thing you know, 10 years later, you don't even know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, to me, that's why I want to do the work early. I want to be who I'm meant to be. I want to strip away what isn't me. That's part of what the entire club philosophy is. And it's really based on the 10x is easier than 2x book, which is a very similar frame that you're talking about. It's like, how do we be our unique ability, do what we love with those which we love so we can live in heaven on earth? I do believe that that work should not be a thing that I dread. It should be, I love to do it. And I want to do work that I love. And I want to work until I go. You know, I want to give as much value. I want to help people be successful. My 10-year vision is to help 100 entrepreneurs achieve their 10-year vision. And I want to advocate for people to like enjoy their work, enjoy the people they work with, and how do we help each other win? You know, what is for you? What is your big, audacious, hairy goal that you're striving for? Or do you have a thing that you're mountaintop you're trying to climb?
You got a lot, yeah. Yeah. I think first and foremost is just getting the stuff out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things I'm working on. I have Cinesomatics as the modality where I actually am doing. So again, the other thing with this is that it's kind of, I'm a clinician, right? So I actually work with clients. I'm not an author just writing ideas.
Right.
This all comes, it's proven in my practice.
Yeah, you're
10 years.
Yeah.
I have over 1,400 sessions, 2+ hours, workshops, group workshops, online, in person, around the world.
Well, that's an incredible amount of experience.
And it's in the book.
Yeah.
Right. So, but
here's the thing. I think there's an experience of reading a book, which a lot of people read a book, but it's also an experience actually doing the work.
Yeah.
And it's two different things.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think this gives you the framework when you're actually doing the work with them, that they can lean into more of the work.
Yeah. And to me, the real depth of the work is embodiment. It's how do we take concepts and actually do it in the body, right? So how, and that was one of probably the number one breakthrough that I had, was that, oh my God, for those 8 years that I was doing all the work, we started this conversation with all the work that I'd done for 8 years. It was all up here. That's why I could write a course and it get published, because the content was great, but I couldn't embody the wealth or the following or the teaching or whatever it was, because I didn't have it in my body. And so there's an entire piece of taking what we know up here and actually embodying it. And when you embody it, it can't be taken from you.
It's kind of hard programming. Because really what we're doing is reprogramming old stories and putting new code in, and your body isn't the body the real storage container for this to exist?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And what's stored into my mind is a lot of bad code. It's a lot of bad code.
All of us. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny how I wish it makes me wonder if it's like, would you sign up for something that said, click here, reprogram your mind? It seems like it would be a thing, because it's essentially, at the end of the day, we have this really shitty programming that we've been running around with, and we capture that story, we repeat the same behaviors, and we keep repeating. And it's like, we need to stop and look at the code and go, oh, why don't you put 3 zeros in front of this thing? Because that's not the thing. Like, to re-educate our subconscious is like.
Yeah, but you want to know the magic though? So this is the secret.
Oh, geez. Okay, good. Tell us.
Okay, so that's great. Reprogramming the mind is great. Your mindset, really important. What I discovered, and what makes this work completely different, is that you have a mindset, but you have a body set too. And I don't mean just your athleticness or your physical fitness or your physical health. What I mean is that your mind has its own definition of things, right? Your mind may have a definition of love, of giving, of making money, of success, right? There's a picture, right? When I say those things, you probably have an image or a sound or a feeling, smell, taste, right? Our senses in our mind. Great. The problem is most people, that's all they realize what is. Now, almost nobody knows this, okay? The body has its own somatic definition. So imagine you're moving through life and you have one definition up here and another definition in here. You only know this one exists. And so this is all you ever work on and change. But this is the one that actually gets you the results. So our body is a little metaphysical here. Our body is the part of our being that is in time and space, right? Physical. I can't think directly to move this unless I have telekinesis, right? So generally speaking, I have to use my body. Even telekinesis requires you to have a body to use it, right? I have to use my body to actually pick this up. So everything that actually occurs in our physical reality goes through our body. Nobody cares your imagination of your bank account. Your bank, your bills, your clients, nobody cares what you imagine your bank account to be. They care the actual physical cash that's in it, right? Hot girl, hot guy. They don't care if you want to be fit when you're flubby. They care, are you actually fit or flubby, right? Your partner doesn't care if you want to be nice or treat them well. They care, are you actually saying those things? And so what I discovered is that the body has its own definition, the somatic definition, and the mind has its own. And so through the embodiment work, we can actually discover what that definition is of the body. And we can see if it's congruent. Does it match what your mental definition of making money, making friends, being kind, being successful is? Or is it different? And then we can also compare that to an archetype. We can compare that to what does the archetypical feeling and sense of success look like? What is the core essence, the quintessence of making money or giving or receiving feel and look like? And then we compare that to how you show up in your body. Every single time, I have thousands of videos of this. Every single time, we see the truth of what happens in somebody's life is what shows up from the body rather than the head. And when that's in conflict, we struggle so much. Imagine if in your mind, you think making friends looks one way, but in the body, it looks completely different. So you think you're out there being nice, but in reality, you're probably pushing people away. So that is people that are just constantly struggling, they're up against something where they're like, we've all said this or heard this, right? I don't understand. It's like the more that I'm nice, the meaner they are to me. Or the more that I try to help my clients, the less I get results, whatever it is, right? The more you go in one direction that you think should be the right thing, I'm nice to everybody, but I get walked over all the time. Yeah. I guarantee you it's because what's happening in your body, what your subconscious somatic definition is backwards. It's different. And if we can help you see that and change that, we get that into alignment in one session, 2 sessions. It completely changes that for people.
Wow. Dude, Andrew, thank you for joining. So much more I want to cover. It's all the time we have for today. How can one get a hold of you to do and learn more about your work?
Yeah, you can go to andrewdaniel.org for me directly, or Cinesomatics, CINESOMATICS.org to learn about Cinesomatics.
I sure hope you're going to be doing some workshops.
I sure hope I am.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's get some workshops in the books. Thanks again.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
If you are an entrepreneur, let's say you're looking for a place where you can be in community, you can grow, you can go all the way. Being around this community is one way that you can go to another level. You're going to be around people that are doing cool things and help ask deeper questions about what you want in this life, and to have a community, a tribe to do this. You can visit musiccityworkclub.com to learn more how you can become a member and actually join one of our group coaching masterminds. Love to have you. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your week.